Hello, I'm Dr. Lee McDougall, and I'm a psychiatrist and researcher focused on transitional aged youth mental health. I'm here today to talk to you about a very important component of youth-centered practice, and that is relationships. We know that the therapeutic relationship between provider and client is the best predictor of treatment outcome. We also know that it's difficult at times, particularly due to the inherent power imbalance between a youth and a more adult or older provider, that we have to do this incredibly intentionally and be open to evolving and sustaining that therapeutic relationship over time. So the three main components that constitute a strong therapeutic relationship with a youth is openness, trust, and connection. So, what do we mean by trust? Well, first and foremost, we know that trust doesn't just come like that. That as a provider, this comes over time, demonstrating your willingness to be open, accountable, transparent, and dependable with your youth client. So it includes important communication to the youth so that they can be assured of their appointment time with you. It's about communicating very clearly with them in a co-partnership. What are the expectations of the program or treatment? What is their role? What is your role? And perhaps other people that are involved in their care and treatment. And also, their voice, ensuring that they are part of those discussions actively as a driver of their treatment. We know that many of the youth that we may interact with might have already had experiences with the healthcare system or other social services, and they may not all be positive. And so we are starting potentially at a place where they already have some misgivings or distrust of the provider, of the institution that you may represent or work for. So starting there, it's important to really be clear about your role, what your program or service offers, and what is expected of the youth, and ensuring that they know they have a very active role in decision making and the development and design of their treatment plan, and to live that out, not just treat them as a token as part of that treatment planning and delivery. Number two is openness. The youth build relationships with people who are human, whole humans, not just a textbook, not just, a stranger. They're willing to open up and trust you if they get a sense of who you really are behind perhaps that professional mask or filter that we often use. So how do we do this while still maintaining professional boundaries? It's very important because we obviously do not want to cross those boundaries and make any of those interactions about us as the provider, but of course focus on each interaction as what is in the best interest and what is serving the needs of our clients. So one of the ways to do that, that finds that balance, is really taking time to reflect on what are those aspects of you that you are comfortable in sharing, and that you're clear, aren't trespassing professional boundaries. That may be certain things like what you might want to put up for artwork or photographs as part of your workspace, so that if a client saw that, you'd be open to discussing, for example, your love of cats or dogs, if that's something that you care about. Another way is thinking about, what are your youth clients doing in terms of connecting with their friends or with information or media. So being familiar with some of those platforms that many youth are on, including Instagram or TikTok, and so that you are able in an informed way be able to talk to them and ask them about those important social aspects and perhaps also where they may be receiving mental health support or information from. The other thing that you can do is think about what are some of those things that you do for your own self-care, not going into any details, of course, about mental health conditions or other issues you may be experiencing personally, but those general self-care, healthy, activities that you take part in, that if you were to suggest to a youth to consider as part of their treatment plan, you can say, I've tried this particular meditation app, and it seems like something that is really easy to use and navigate, and it's free, and it's worth you trying it out to see if that's something that fits with you and your needs and interests. So there's different ways that you can do it that still shows yourself as a human, but certainly doesn't cross that professional boundary and keeps the focus on the youth and serving their needs. The last thing is about connection. So the critical part of making a strong, positive connection with your youth is seeing them as an individual. Do not make assumptions that the youth you're seeing right now has similar likes or dislikes or interests or activities or dreams as the other 40 youth you saw over the last couple of weeks. Treat each youth in front of you as an individual. Understand what is important to them. What are their goals? What are their values? What are their likes and dislikes? And also going back to our conversation around trust, how do they feel supported? What are the things that you can do as a provider that allows them or facilitates them feeling supported? And that can be very different among different individuals, although there may be certain similarities as well. So that connection is that you see them as an individual, you're very intentional about your time with them, you take time to explore their individuality, and you certainly tailor your treatment plan with them in a co-partnership for them as an individual, knowing that their context, their history, and their future are going to be distinct and unique to them. So I hope this has been helpful in terms of starting to explore ways that you may be able to think about or enact these really important components of building a therapeutic relationship with youth. Thanks so much for your time.